Hey everyone, how you doing today? Thought I would get some work done on this new Imperial cruiser and show you what I've did to the interior so far. But I got a lot more to do in it. It's a weird interior for sure. I also converted this over to steel from concrete and started texturing the this Imperial base over here a little bit, trying to get it dialed in some. Still trying to work out the details and things like that, but you can kind of see what it's looking like at this point. But it needs more stuff for sure. Um, I do like the little red light thingies around it. That's kind of the highlight right now of it. But other than that, yeah, it's a weird, funky looking base, but it's gonna have a lot of room in it. It's not a rectangle, but it's kind of got the rectangle thing going on for it, so it's not really wasting a whole ton of space. Pretty much everything should be used in it as a big farming slash production slash hangar base, and that's kind of or I wouldn't say big, it's medium sized. It'll be pretty big, but I mean, there's certainly bigger bases out there. But on this guy over here, I did another round of exterior detailing on it, added some more textures, cleaned up a lot of stuff, been working on a bunch of little aspects of it. And on the interior, it's weird. It's a weird interior. Let me try to fly in here a minute and walk around. I know you've seen the hangar several times, so that's nothing new anymore. So as in the layout, it's complicated. There's a lot of entry points and exit points and parts and rooms and things like that. And I think this is going to be one of those ships that it's going to seem a little bit bigger on the interior than what it is on the outside. It's not that big of a ship, but it's going to have a fair amount of space. Now I did find places for all these different parts, like the shield, the warp core, the shield components. I kind of got a area slotted out over here for CPU cores and things like that. Down that room, there's going to be some hallways going in here. There's several different engineering areas. This goes to the front loading door, or bay door, I guess you could say, entry point. There's a generator room over here, which it's going to be up to hold two of these. It's only going to come stock with one. I do believe that's all it's really going to need until you add in a bunch more parts. And that pretty much is the first floor. Now here's kind of one of the shield part rooms going down this side now. And there's a lot of detailing and a lot of things I got to do to tweak out all these areas. And then there's a upstairs as well. Couple floors here. So we've got this section over here. Let me get the light on. Actually, I went up a little bit too high up in the air there. So there's going to be a room kind of above the farm over on this side as well, and that's going to be probably used for cores again, stuff like that, and probably a room kind of above over here as well. This is the actual farm section. And then after that, it just pretty much goes to the bridge, but this does actually walk through the ship over here, and you can see another more shield parts over there. This kind of walks up to the front of the ship, which is going to get into a small crew area, probably in the nose area of the ship. And I'll try to reinforce this a little bit as well. And this, you can see where the warp core is located at. There's some big old thrusters over here. So basically, I had to make this walkway. Basically, I got to keep you a full block away from these thrusters, even at the kitty corner angles of it. Otherwise, you'd get some heat problems. So. It's only one corridor that goes to the very front of the ship there, and then there's also kind of another way going through the farm section over here. So today I think what I'm going to try to do here is work out the farm. Obviously it's a mess right now. I'm trying to make room above the farm for other things. I'm trying not to waste any space, or waste the least amount of space as possible. So in this room here, I want to start setting up some block work and details, and maybe even replace the grow plots with filler blocks, things like that. But I want to make the room look nice to start with. Now I was thinking that I would have a door over here as well, but it's kind of weird because it kind of walks along this side and this side of the wall. It's not a bad thing. It's just I'm not sure if it needs the double access, but that is a bit of a time saver. I've also been debating if I wanted to put a second elevator in the ship, like somewhere around this area, to get you up to the floor above. Don't know about that one yet. This has been a challenging ship to try to work out the interior on. It's just there's a lot of parts to fit. It's kind of some weird space areas, things like that, and I'm trying to pack a lot into it. So anyway, let's get started with this. So to start with, all these blocks on the ceiling here are kind of filler blocks, but what I did want to do is just make sure I'm know exactly where I want to put the grow lights right now. So I'm going to set up some blocks above here that are going to have to be essentially full blocks, and actually not on that row. So to get the grow lights properly placed, so I know where to work around there. So I think each one of these rows is going to need 3 grow lights to light up all the farms here. We'll try to get those on switches at some point here too. That's a pretty easy thing to do. So good. We know we need those there. So now on the ceiling and everything else in here, this is the time where I'm going to start to mess with all the blocks. So a lot of this carbon substrate, I didn't even mass fill texture it because I knew I was going to replace it. It's just kind of setting up the walls and stuff like that. So what I did want blocks here so I could form a floor above it. So on each grow plot, let's do some. See, how do we want to do this setup here? I do like using these blocks. If they're rotated correctly, then you can get kind of a double texture thing going on them. And you can see where those little diamond eyes are on the one side. This surface right up there is the one that you can texture, and these two join together. So I kind of want to reverse that to have that on the bottom side here, because you're not going to see much of that top side. But at least that's my thought right now. So let's add in some kind of stuff over here. Or actually, do I want to use that block? Yeah, let's try this to start with. Let's do, whoops. Oh, that's not going to work over here. These are some hall blocks here I can't get rid of, can I? For the sake of uniformity, that would mess that up. So let's, I think I'm going to have to keep this outside row here solid. And then on the inside row here, we'll try to carve something out in the ceiling here. How about there and there? On the sides, looks like we can manipulate all of those blocks. This block shouldn't be there. And let's get rid of this row too. And put in some more of these for now. I might mix this up a little bit later, but something like that on that side, and same thing on this side. Let's replace some of these corners, get the this block in place to have a nice smooth angle there. So it's not going to work out so well over here, is it? Where's that block? Is this block a visible block? It kind of is right now. This is one of those things. Yeah, you know what? I wanna change that. So I'm gonna go back over to steel, and I'm gonna fill this other block in. I did this to a lot of these turret mount positions up in the corner. I had that tilted block there, and that kind of makes it rougher on the interior. I just want to make sure I get the other side when I'm doing it here too. You know, it probably didn't need to be done there, but all right. So back to this. Sorry, it's a bit claustrophobic in here working too. Kind of glad I don't have symmetry running on this stuff though, because that even makes it all the worse, especially at the center of the symmetry line. So by doing that, it filled in that area and allows me to put in the angled shape block on the interior, which was the whole point there. And let's do something like that on the front side of the room here as well. So like that, and get rid of these. Just trying to make some room trim basically around the ceiling for now. This isn't a super exciting way to do it, but it does work. Okay, so now these beams here that are coming across are really low. I don't want that to be that low there, but I do want a ceiling up above here. Let's get rid of that one too and put in another one of these. Okay, so not going to get much of a ceiling up there. Now something else too, another part that I probably should look into getting more in the ship of, and that is oxygen tanks. I do have a decent amount of fuel tanks already added to this, I believe, but not a lot of oxygen. Again, it's a lot of this is trying not to waste any room. Like, I don't need to have the ceiling this high over here, and I can't really do anything above it, so let's try to find a neat formation to at least get some air tanks over on this side of above the farm area. I wonder how that should be done. Now let's just try something like that for now. I think they sort of, well, I don't want one there either. Did that work out? Kind of. Well, let's try it on that side at least, see how it shakes. Alright, so we need a floor, and to fill in a lot of parts here, I guess I'm going to have to just go with full blocks here too for now. And let's build up the ceiling. See, I guess the whole point is because there's a door here, I wanted to be able to try to utilize this room area here to hold something at least. And I can put in a fake floor here to accomplish that. Kind of almost need to in some places. Okay, get that in there, and okay, let's try some half blocks. Let's make some framework that kind of comes up along here. And then same thing on the other side here. No, that doesn't line up at all, does it? Not really. No, we didn't want that one there. Alright, I'm going to change my mind again here. Do a lot of that when building. Try something, don't like it, switch it. So what if we ran a row like this across there, and I'll get rid of this row too and do the same thing. Try to come up with a better formation. And then on the center here, we kind of need to add in a little bit of something there. Obviously these half blocks will fit, but it's a little boring doing that the whole stretch, but it is smooth and probably fitting. So now that lines up and everything's kind of lining up here, I think I'm going to want to do those same blocks over here as well. And I did the ones with a little bit of a lip on the end so I could texture those individually, which might add a nice looking effect in the end. Yeah, actually that kind of works out pretty good. Then I can get the floor in here. Everything kind of looks symmetrical and lined up across the ceiling for the most part. So there's this one block in the corner. I cannot get rid of that full block there. That's the only unfortunate thing. Now I have thought about trying to move this wall, this entire wall, one more block in and get rid of this walk space here. But then that would kind of cause the ceiling not to line up properly with the lights on both sides. So I don't really want to do that either, I guess. Alright. Well, we have a ceiling. Let's work out some walls and stuff here. So we've got a fuel tank in the corner. Let's try to put that on display a little bit. Maybe I'll run some more of these same kinds of blocks here. Rotate that again. And basically just kind of allow you to see the top side of that. But let's go with these instead. Make it a little bit easier to see there. So we got this little alcove with a fuel tank kind of randomly put in there. 2 rows walking across this side, which is alright. Need to put up some stuff around this elevator here too. Trying to debate on which way I want you to walk out of the elevator, and I don't really want to keep it open like it is right now. So I'm thinking maybe if you came out this side would be the best, and then I would put probably some really super thin blocks along the sides here. And I do want to seal this elevator off from this floor too, so let's say we did try one of those for now, and something like that on the other side. And this is going to allow for a door to be placed here. Let's get some little trim running here as well. Something like that on both sides. And let's see, do I got a door around? And if I can, I'm going to try to use one of the bigger doors here. Okay, so now that should seal that off. Now something that we're going to have to think about too is oxygen in this area. I don't think that'll be... Oxygen is actually quite easy to do this day and time because of so many options with the ventilators. I'm just trying to find a kind of a neat location. It'd be kind of neat if it could be centered. Actually, I could. We could build an oxygen thing kind of like almost in the center of the farm, I think. I don't really want it right there, or do I? Well, you know, it could be one of those dual-use oxygen things, so it could actually ventilate the room above it here too. I don't know if I want to do that or not, but let's try it. Put in a half-block oxygen piece to match the other one, and then we're going to have to seal it off from this area over here as well. Now there's going to be a wall or a fence or something around that shield, but I won't get over there right now. So now let's try to do something with the rest of this here. And do I keep the doorway over here? Could make for an interesting use of an angled door. Don't use those too often. Problem is, a lot of them, they don't really work out because of how the doors open. Unless there's a block on the other side here. I think the problem will be if you open it, you're going to see that shooting out of the edge over here, which is going to force me to put more blocks over there to fix that. So don't really want to do that either. So I guess just a square one here, I guess. Let's go with the same type that we used over there. And this could actually go on the inside, I think. Yeah, so that kind of works. Okay, so we got to think about farm equipment too. There's not a lot, but let's get some food processors and some fridges. Make room in the inventory. My inventory is always filling up, and I forget what I have in here, so I grab new, which is usually quicker than trying to find it. It's a problem I seem to typically have. Okay, so the farm stuff I think would make more sense on this side, which is closer to the elevator, and there's more room here in general. So did kind of want to do something more with the ceiling here too. So whereabouts should this farm stuff be? Let's say we had, I don't know, should we center it or should we try to keep it closer to the corner? Probably make more sense if it was closer to the corner. So let's try 2 of these and a food processor. Flip it around so you don't see the wires. Just kind of journal layout. There's a lot of extra room over here though. It's kind of bugging me a little bit. Alright, so the ceiling up here, these really don't need to be full blocks, but if I get rid of the full blocks, I'm going to lose that formation that I was trying to do. Let's for now, let's do a mass texture fill here. So I'm going to go to the base color. We'll do replace mode and this base texture for now. It just saves a little bit of time and you can see things better now. Alright, well, let's start texturing some of this and keep on working it. So up here, I'm thinking I'm going to do the white and black scheme again. So what I'm going to do is try to make the rows above the grow lights kind of dark or black, and then have these in white, maybe some texture lights on the inside there. Oh, except that's, I can't paint this correctly if I use that one. Could go with this. This'll work. This'll work. That texture is the least uniform between cargo extensions and the regular stuff. So on the inside here, could use this texture, which is nice and kind of flat. And yeah, that's a good choice because it also works on cargo extensions. Okay, and okay, lights on the inside. Now there's some certain ones, like this fits really well on those blocks there. I don't know if I want to have those just in those locations right next to the light or all the way across yet. I'll try it like this and put something else on the inside. Let's do this other row the same way. And on the inside here, there's a number of different things that can work. This one looks fairly nice too on that. It's one of my more favorite blocks because of how this this one thin side lines up to a lot of textures. It actually works out pretty well. Alright. Okay, so now the metal work on the bottom here. I wonder if each one of these lights should try to have. Now I do a kind of a color transformation here. If I'm painting in some textures, I use this shade, and if I'm painting in other textures, I use this shade to match the base, basically. So this one actually has to be a tone up for it to match the textures next to it. I don't know if that's too many of those venty things there, and let's get rid of some of this stuff too. Don't like to see too much of the lines. However, I'm trying to see some. Some of this can actually be replaced with the smooth metal too, but you don't know what you're going to get every time you spray one. So some you'll keep and some you get rid of. Alright. I might have done these blocks backwards over here too, because now I realize that I want to paint. I don't know. So right now I can individually texture the bottom side, but the top two sides are going to be matching. I don't know if that's a good idea. Let's try a couple of those, at least on the edges, which this seam lines up to that that joint there, I guess. Yeah, for the most part, I like the black stripes across the top. That's actually working out all right. Let's get rid of some of these ones that really stick out. Yeah. Try to smooth off the top so you don't have lines going nowhere. Maybe some smooth, some not smooth. You know what? I want to replace. I want to swap some blocks around here. Hate to do it, but it'll be easier removing them than trying to individually rotate every one of these, which can be done, but that would take longer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse the way these are oriented now. Oh, that's not going to accomplish anything here, actually. No, because that's already covered up. Never mind. Put them back. That's not going to help over there. It would help on these, but... Okay, so let's get rid of that, that. Basically, this whole row here, I'll put them in oriented this way instead. So now, you could paint the bottom and the tops differently. And the idea behind that would be, let's go with a little bit odd tone gray here. Maybe get some vents over here. And let's just see what something else would look like there, like that. And then we go back to the white on the bottom here. Let's rotate a couple of those so the seams work out better, and then replace some of them. Something like that. Guess that kind of works. Probably should do the same on this side. Vent. That's not the tone I used there. No, it isn't. I used that shade. Okay. And then a little bit of this. Okay. You know what? I don't like those in that color, so let's put a different texture there, and we'll go to this, something that fits, that's smooth. And then maybe these ought to be a little bit brighter than 2, but we'll dim them down a little bit, keep it offset. Alright, so pretty plain Jane so far. Don't we have, oh yeah, you know, we're gonna need switches for lights too. That's gonna be another thing. So we got room over there. This fridge stuff might end up getting moved here. So we got this inner wall over here, and there's this block that kind of comes up along the side here. I'm kind of wondering if we can, and it's nothing but a hallway, so I'm thinking I'm gonna try to add in some little, I don't know, some little trim details, something or other over here for the heck of it, just to get something there. Maybe something that comes up to about there and then tapers off. I don't know if that's gonna look decent or not. You know, and now I want the door on the outside. Well, that wouldn't work. Oh, it could. It could work. Yeah, let's get the door on the outside. Could fix this other block over here to make that work. Actually, both these blocks, just put in the ones with the double edges like that, and then we can put in trim there. And you know, I'd want to do the same thing with this block here too. Okay, so now we just kind of move that wall out just like a thin block size, but that's going to allow for this to carry on through all the way across and get to the edge. Okay. All right. I won't do anything more with this. Is there anything that I could put there? Technically, yes, this could be some glass here too. That would be kind of interesting, wouldn't it? So this is still kind of working on the same room, but I kind of wanted to see if there's a nice center point like right here that maybe these blocks get dug into. As long as I seal that elevator, should be alright. And then put in like something like this over here. And then could have, I don't know about that anymore, but That's the thing. The fancy glass here would fit wonderfully, and it lines up actually to that window across there too, which is kind of neat. Which also lines up to the window over here. My only thing about using the fancy glass or the armored glass is it's pricey. I already have some out, but I found the same format here. Could do that. And this inner trim area doesn't work out so well anymore, at least where the glass is. So maybe these two sides here get changed into something a little more complex. Maybe get a little lighty in the wall, like that. Now we got a bit of glass, and we'll make sure this glass is not darkly tinted as well. Lighten it up. Okay, that's kind of coming in place. Switches for grow lights. Looks like there's basically only two sets of plots. I don't really want to subdivide those more, so I think 2 sensors or 2 switches. Let's throw away some more stuff. And let's get this out of the way for now. Let's put these. Where should they go? Kind of neat if they're lined directly up to the farms. Maybe I should go that route, but I would put them all the way to this side, which is not as convenient. But clearly, since they're at the center of each farm area, you'd kind of know what they're for there. And okay, so let's do something else here real quick. I'm going to go into these, and we'll say farm 1 and farm 2. And then set like all these to farm 2, so I can turn these things off. Otherwise, when I get into the lighting on this room, this is going to distort it. So I wanted these to be off. I might as well just set up the control now as opposed to just manually turn them off. Okay, so now those are off. Now, lighting environment. I want to try to get some regular lights in here. We don't need that. Got another group of those. Now, where would be a good place to light this room up at? There's just a little bit of space at the ceiling, which is probably my go-to place I would want to put lights. But at the setup here, it looks like it would actually require around 4 lights if I went that route. I don't usually like to run that many, but I like to get 1 or 2 on this side of the room and then another couple on the other side of the room. So let's try that. Let's put in 1 for now, and then we'll set some just basic settings on here. So you're going to be a spotlight, intensity 2 for now. Let's go 15 on range, and I'll jump the angle up quite a bit. Set it probably to this kind of purple blue color. Let's put in more of these around the area. Now, it's kind of what we're looking like. I have to probably work on the intensity and stuff like that a little bit more on those. Okay, so back over to this area here. Let's make a little housing here for some grow farm plot stuff. So let's texture these back textures here too. For now, I think just fill that in for the most part. Actually, let's go black here. It's like 2 of those and something in the middle. And let's try to get some little trim on the sides here. Maybe a couple of these. Like that. Here, get the light on yet. And let's see, how do we want to paint these trim pieces? Keep that white or go dark? Or a combination of white and dark. Okay. So we did that. Let's go at the borders. We'll try it dark for now. Get some flooring in here. Oh, I got cargo extensions there. Okay, so not that texture for flooring, something else. Maybe a couple like that. One of these. And let's get some lighting on the top side. Let's try 2 of these big guys. See how that comes out. And maybe a vent thing or something above here. Like that. Okay, so now we can pop in the equipment, and for these I'm going to use those. And I wish there is, and maybe there will be someday, but I wish there was alternatives to the food processor too. I'm really, really tired of this old food processor. I don't want it to go away, I just want more options like there are with some other parts, so it'd be kind of neat. Alright, so we got a little of that going on. I want to get some more something going on with this wall over here. I'm starting to think at what other things could be in the farm. God, I can't even think of any other parts to put in there. How about another one of these thin blocks? Not sure which one. Looks like that one there. Just put it there so you got some kind of uniformity. And also, coming out of the elevator here, God, should there be a door here coming into the farm? I don't want too many doors. They're kind of annoying when you're walking through your spaceship all the time and that constant doors opening and closing. And okay, floor over here. Let's go dark with this floor too. Maybe a couple like that, a couple more of these. Get this back wall painted. I don't want that one. Just keep them like that. A lot of this is just trying to keep some of the lines in place, but not go too overboard with them. I wanted something more detailed back here. I don't know what I'm gonna put here though. That's the thing. Oops, oh crap. And maybe something like that. Maybe we put, I don't know, some kind of farm box. Is there a farm box? Just thinking out loud. Alright, so we've got that. Might be going a little bit too crazy with this piece. I'm kind of wondering if those shouldn't be vents instead, because it kind of makes sense in a farm. But the other sides of this I didn't really want to do. Well, they could be the same thing. I just worry that's going to overdo it a bit. Let's clean up some of these. Alright, so now we've got this this border over here too. Let's try to do a add another color tone since we can line this up properly now. Ooh, not on that row. I thought I did that. Oh, I did that the other way, didn't I? Okay, you know what? Let's not do that. Let's go over here. Let's use one of these other kinds of textures. How about that one? Yeah, that could work. Get some of those along the sides. Could, you know, they could actually go around the corners. No, they can't. At least the way I got it rotated right now. They should be able to if I had it rotated correctly. But I don't know if I'd want to do that. Yeah, get rid of these. And let's fill in that one. And let's put a color change here. Make this more of a thing. And how about a... Looks like that one is that way. Okay, so this corner here, don't like it. Don't like that. I hate how this walk path is getting disrupted by that block in the corner, and I really can't do much about that. Well, let's just angle it off then. Inner area here. Oh, so this pattern isn't lining up quite right anymore, is it? Well, let's do some wiring or something in the background here. How about some cords going there and a thing? And let's get some texture lights or something in this area. I've been trying to go with this red texture light theme on this build for the most part. And it's a little bit different than some of the other Imperial stuff, but I think it for the most part is fitting. How about we go with something a little more subtle like that in there on the backside, and we'll just kind of fill these in with something. Not a whole lot of textures that fit over that part very well, but that one sort of does. A thing here. There, and let's try to get some little vent things or something in the ceiling here. We'll tone these down to a little bit lower level there. Let's see if we can get one there. That's lining up with the vent, so let's put one there and here. And okay, so we've got this this group here going along the bottom. Maybe do something like that there. Okay. Smooth that one out too. Get rid of some of this junk. Yeah, you know what? These side walls I think should be dark. I tried them white and not necessarily on board with that. In fact, let's paint up that whole back area that way. And are these not? Oh, I can actually texture these. They're not cargo extensions. Yay! All right. What about here? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I want that there. How about something else? What could fit? Could try some of these. They do come across that corner, all right. And could do it on both sides. And then let's have that line up. Maybe put these in over here, which are right. Oh, and that actually kind of lines up to the switches as well. Let's back the switches with the texture. Accept, wrong tone. And let's paint these dark. Oh yeah, the windows. Let's put something on there. They got a They gotta stay the same color as what they're supposed to be on the outside, which I believe is this tone here. I just wanted to kind of paint that center one. Let's do it on all these actually. And these need to be painted on the inside. Okay, so then we need to walk pass. So just kind of go with standard, except no, I don't think there's any cargo extensions right there. So maybe I can just paint that in the way I would want to. No, but there is one right there. Now it's starting to look like a room. I don't really have much options there. So we got this stuff. You know, I didn't paint the inside of that. And okay, let's add a little bit of color here. How about we got a red fridge and a gray fridge, and this can be whiter. I do have room for something in the middle here. Alright, so on the center, see if we can enhance the textures even more. Let's try. How about I tone it down a little bit and see if we can get a strip like that across the middle. Yeah, I'm okay with that. And let's get rid of this one here too. Some grit's nice, but too much is bad too. At least with this build, or this type of build. Okay, now there's nothing back in the lights with textures over here. So I'm kind of wondering if some other piece could be put like that, just above those. Oh, that's a cargo extension. Yeah, alright. How about we do this instead then? That's universal. Okay, now should I get any green in here? That is a farm. I did think I put some green on the other farm, so I've got this tone over here. It's kind of the Imperial green tone. I don't like this corner either. But where would the green go? I don't want too much green. Just a little bit. But I'm kind of curious, how would that work if these lights on the sides were green? That. And I'll have to, yeah, I would have to reverse these blocks again. Probably ought to do that because I'm not, that ain't going to be kosher how I got it right now, I don't think. Or maybe we do something like that. What if this went just an odd tone, not just a little bit different gray on the back, something like that, and maybe that also takes place across the top, or do I reverse those textures? Yeah, I'm not liking this now, so just turn off the light here. Okay, so we need to tweak the lighting here a little bit too. I don't know. I'm still not on board with a lot of this stuff. One sec here before I do the lighting. Let me try painting the rest of that in dark. Um, and let's see, can we put in something different here too on the floor? This is, there's not a lot of stuff that fits here, but I'm trying to get some kind of more detail into this. But if we just put these at the center of each group of grow plots on all sides here. So it'd be there, there, and there. Okay, so we can paint that stuff up a little bit later. Yeah, this is, I'm gonna have to, unfortunately, reverse these again, I think. For the third time. That happens. Okay, so that would carry the green across the bottom. Okay. So that's going to change this around. It's not going to have that same setup with the texture, but if we wanted the lights, it does have that, which is kind of a little bit too much. So maybe I should alternate some of these one way or another, like maybe every, like something like that. Not super wonderful either. Or back those with more of these. I hate using this texture so much, but man, it's one of the most practical textures, in my opinion at least. It paints nice. It doesn't have too much problems with it. It lines up to everything nice. It's just a useful texture for sure. Or do we want to have more of that? Not really. Alright, so this side here, I have to swap that too. Or, well, you know, in a lot of ways I still like that better. Maybe, what if this row here was just painted to match? That might be a worthwhile solution. And maybe all this stuff over here should be green as well, at least to a point. This adds a little bit too much there though. Alright, you're gonna shoot me on this one. I'm gonna take this out again and put it back the way it was. Oh my goodness. This is why builds can take a long time. But that's alright, that's alright. Okay, so let's see, how do we just had this running all the way along here. And the only difference here is I'm gonna paint this bottom stuff in with green instead, so it kind of matches a little bit better. I just want to get the vents lined up right. So we had a vent in that location and probably that location. No, this location. And let's put some other stuff down here. Oh, that's right, I used this. And then I think that this top part here probably ought to be green too, but we'll leave those silver. We'll leave those silver just to break it up a little bit. That is just too much of that one texture there. So let's just blot those seams out. Alright, so now back to lighting. Now, obviously, with the grow lights on, it's going to change the appearance of the room. Right now, it's a little bit on the dark side, though, so I'm going to mess with the light settings here individually. So, this first one, let's up the range a little bit. Wish I could do more with the color. I'd love to, have something in between, say, this and that, or something like that. There's not a lot of options there, though. So let's do this light. This one's a spotlight. Let's pick a different light in the room to mess with. Let's say we turn this one into not a spotlight. So I'll take the intensity down on that. Excuse me. Like that. So now we got two different light styles in here. This one's kind of doing the stuff on the ground, and the other one's kind of illuminating the ceiling a little bit in places. So let's keep that one. Let's change the tint on this one for the heck of it and see how that turns out. And change this one to another ceiling illumination light. And something like that. We'll keep the tone about like that. So basically, you can kind of see how the lighting changed a little bit. Still relatively dark in here, though. See, now one thing I don't like to necessarily do is if you take the intensity up another notch, sometimes it just suddenly gets too bright, which is a problem too. And you can barely see anything on the sides over here. One of the things I don't like necessarily is where where the placement of lights are right now. It's all right, but it'd be neat to have some cast the light a little different ways there. And see that one intensity 3 light just sticks out like a sore thumb. It's like it's just too bright. I wish there was like a 2.5 or something on intensity. We could try to lower down the spotlight angles on a couple of these as well, especially this one over here that I'm trying to do a different tone to mix it up a little bit, so the whole room isn't lit the same, which kind of gives it some fluctuation, which I think makes it look a little bit more realistic. Alright, so we did all that stuff there. We got the grow lights hooked up. Again, this area is really, really dark over here, though. So, what in the world can be done about that? I don't like to get too many lights in one area, but in this case, I'm really trying to do something here to make this area just light up better. Let's do a small radius, but wide angle light over here to try to get some light to the stuff, to the equipment. God, that doesn't do much either, does it? It's not too bad. Alright, so let's switch gears a little bit. Let's go into decals now. See what we can do with the room here, adding some stuff. So, not a lot of options here either, but I'm going to try something across the top here to do this double white line that happens to also fit on this block. Just add in a little something across the edges. Hopefully I'm not messing up some kind of decals on the other side of these blocks. I don't believe so, though. Okay, so a little bit of detail there. What about here? Where the line end up? Where the line end up here? Across the top, but not on this side. across the top again, but not on the other side. The corner can work though. Okay, let's see if we can get this to all work out. This won't do that. Okay, this row needs to be flipped. So it should be, is it like that? Yes. Okay, and let's just get this in place first, and we'll paint them in a sec. Okay, and that, and this has got to be flipped too. Back to green. Or should this be kind of matching with... I don't usually like to do too much of this, and I don't like the fact that you see the top side of it in this case. Because I flip those blocks around, and can't do the vent on the other side. We can do a vent here though. Let's do just a random vent that's painted gray right in the center. We'll try this. Yeah, I don't know if this texture's going to stick. Actually, what the other alternative version look like there? Well, a little bit better, I think, in this case. And then we can also do some more of that across the bottom side. Like that. Farms are kind of boring for sure. Okay, I'm not liking the red in here. Red and green to me usually ends up looking like it should be Christmas or something. So it's not really the look I was trying to go for in this case. Let's what can fit in here? Could put in a couple lights like that. Yeah, it's a little more fitting. Oh yeah, paint that too. And there's really nothing going on inside this area. It looks like it's supposed to be holding something, but there's nothing there to hold. Alright, so last thing here. But I'm happy the room's kind of getting done here. It goes through a lot of this stuff. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove the grow plots. And I'm going to try to be pretty sneaky so I don't have to do a huge amount of work with this. And we're going to put in some fake grow plots, or well, and I kind of like that format I've been doing, which is actually using some of these in the corners like that, and then some more of those angled blocks, and it kind of, the way you can texture this, you can make this actually look pretty nice for grow plot fillers. So I'm just going to do this side, and then I'm going to copy it over to the other side so I don't have to do it twice. So let's see, we need our line. Gotta make sure I get this right. This has got to be flipped a certain way to make this work. Let's see if we got it right here. I thought this was a pretty neat look. This fits on the corners there pretty good. Okay, I got that backwards. Oh, this needs to go that way. So since we know that now, let's just do the rest of this up. And in the center, I don't think I did anything special. No, I don't think so. I think they're just full blocks here. Okay, so that's kind of the filler. And then we're going to have a green trim ring around here. Put in a couple of these places. I don't want too many of those though either. Maybe mix it up a little bit. A couple like that. Yeah, I know. Like anybody really cares. Like this is blocks that are meant to be removed. But you know, honestly, sometimes I think the filler blocks look better than the grow plots themselves. At the end of the day. So all right, so let's do this in gray. We'll just mix it up here. So we'll have something going on the insides of these. How about something like that? And maybe some of these. And then across the whole bottom here, let's do those in gray as well. And let's find a texture that might work out. All right. Yeah, I think it was something like that. Just kind of ad hocing this, but it's very similar to what I did in some other ships, so it's not really too original. It's just the look I thought was decent. Okay, so that's backwards from this other one. Darn it. Okay, so this has to be something different here on the texture. How about we just go pretty smooth with it? And let's maybe something different on this on the ends. It's not exactly how I did it before, is it? Okay, well, let's get some decals on that too. Let's fill in a couple of these things. Want to get this done, and then I can just copy it over to the other side. So be fairly quick. Or should these be green on the sides? Oh yeah, the inside. Oh yeah, this whole inside needs to be textured. That's the big problem now. That should be kind of dark, I do believe so, but let's go with this alternative hanger floor color. And I thought there was a grow. Yeah, there's a couple cargo extensions in the area, and maybe that's not the right texture either. The colors are right. We can do this, but not everywhere. Yeah. That's a little bit too much too. I don't like the white lines when I use the darker tone on there. So let's just say that's a bad idea too. Let's just try to, then that matches the same color here. I'm doing something wrong here. Well, for now. And with that one cargo extension, that'll bury that too. Okay, let's get rid of some of that. We'll have to do the same thing on the other side too, but I'll do that after the video here. Alright, so now, yeah, I don't think I like the gray on the sides here. I think, in this case, I think I want this green. Something like that. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Okay, so decals again. How would this work? Let's see if we put, yeah, we can put lines there across this area. There. And then in the corner pieces, like that. And there we go. And then let's mix it up a little bit. Let's put in a couple random gray. Oops. A couple random gray vents here. Something like that. Give it a little bit more luster. Don't really care about the bottom texturing on it right now. Yeah, okay, so we're cool there. So let's get into selection and just take this set of grow plots here. paste, shift it over to there, and paste again. Cool, now we just got to texture the outside of it, which was done in this color. Yes. Okay. Oops. I'll try to get a little bit more detail in here too. And this is usually what I would call like first run on doing up a interior. Like I got it to this point, and then after that I'll try to, like, I don't know, add in some decorations, some I don't know, consoles, other things in there. Maybe a couple more this, that, or the other thing. It's basically just kind of looking around. Is there a boring wall? Is there a boring area? Something that could be accented. Let's get a couple more decals around those as well. And then let's see, from looking outside, let's tint these windows so they are more visible. And then the look when the lights are on, like that. And yeah, for the most part, there is a farm now with removable or with grow plots that you can swap out and put in some other put in the farm plots. Well, with some fake grow plots is what I meant to say. So we sealed off that. And I'm not even going to check O2 yet because this is completely open to everything else yet, and I'll have to figure out how that's going to work out in the end. But and one thing I always do too, upon releasing the ship, there's two important things I always do. I always make sure I keep the grow lights off by default, and the same thing with spotlights. I never like to have spotlights on when you first spawn in a creation. So those are two things that I always try to make sure are just shut off. I always have a switch, especially for spotlights and grow lights the same. I always have a switch. Could be a P menu option, could be a manual switch, either way you want to do it. But I would always recommend having those things off doing this stuff when you first spawn in a creation. A lot of times, even when I do a look at the workshop each week, some creations, I bring in and they might have several spotlights on them, and they're all on, and it kind of causes glare all over the place, and it causes glare to nearby creations and other things too. So I usually have to go through and turn those off. Sometimes, I can find, I go to the P menu and there's an option for spotlights. Other times, there's just no option, and I end up like finding each spotlight and manually turning it off in the devices. So that's just one thing I thought I'd bring up. And you know what, this red fridge, I was all complaining about red and green together. Reminds me of Christmas, and this isn't a Christmas ship. I don't got anything against Christmas. Christmas is cool, but I'm just saying, I don't want it to necessarily look like a Christmas tree. But yeah, there you go, farm section for the most part. And again, I'll try to add in a little bit more detail one way or another. I'm seeing that I could mess with this wall a little bit over here, and I don't really like how this pathway is going. That kind of runs into this barrier right here, but that was just one of those things I can't really fix because I can't bring this out another block. And I also got to fix my blocks on the inside here too. I got a lot of different tones going on this ship. Oh, that one actually could stand to be that color too. I'll have to work out all the what turrets is going to come on with too, and I haven't really painted those yet either. But yeah, for the most part, the ship's getting closer and closer to done. That'll help there getting that section done. So now it's got this and a farm. A lot of little rooms, a lot of little areas in the ship. Quite a few places to walk through on it. And yeah, this year I'm kind of looking forward to texturing this front room here too. Hopefully this should be kind of neat. Even stuck in a armor locker. The only confusing part to this ship, well, I don't know, the interior might be a little bit confusing. For the most part, it's pretty straightforward, but when you walk in from this way here, if you were to go through this door here, you're not going to want to go in there. This is a hot room. This is like your main, you know, generator room here. The actual way is to go down this hallway this way. I know it's a little convoluted getting from the front ramp to the main elevator, but yeah, it's a fair amount apart from each other, and I had to I was really kind of pressed to find places to put all these big parts. Originally, I wanted to have the warp core out in this kind of room area over here, but it totally just was not working out. Anyway, which way I try to place it, if I placed it on the ceiling, it would be too close to the ground. I had the window on the side of the ship over here. Did not want to place the warp core in front of the window. That was another problem. There's just a lot of little things I had to definitely work out here. And actually, this engineering area here actually it's really tight in here, but it's giving you access to like everything. There's actually some more room back over here as well, which is probably going to join up to this room. I'll probably have to move some blocks here, and basically I wanted room for cores and CPU blocks and all that stuff, and that's kind of what those rooms are for. But anyway, I will call that on the video. So I just wanted to kind of do up a room and show you kind of my general way of doing at least the Imperial type creations, which are not all that different from like the other creations I do, like the humans and things like that. So a little bit different texturing, a little bit more emphasis on black and white, and you know, fairly white and fairly dark stuff, where the humans tend to be more gray than what the Imperial are. And I also use a lot of these other textures in Imperial, like this one over here gets used a lot more than I do with the humans. Stuff like that. But yeah, I'm kind of getting excited about it. I'm going to have to strip this ship down right now. Well, not right now, but before I release it, because obviously the CPU on this is way above right now, but I got all the shield parts installed. I got the extra generators. I got all the extra thrusters installed. It's got all the launchers installed. It's got all the cheap turrets. It's got all of those on here. So there's a lot of play on CPU on this one, so I can easily get it down to the 2.1 million CPU range, and then you'd have room for everything. The only sticky point a little bit is if you wanted to go with the big shields and the big fusion reactor, they'll fit, but I think I would have to make a little bit of a modification and try to do some kind of marking to indicate what slot the fusion reactor goes in. The other pieces would fit in here no problem without any modifications. All the shield parts, because they're only 4 blocks tall, but the fusion reactor is 5 blocks tall, and doing the stuff across the ceiling, I think there's blocks that would interfere with the placement of the fusion reactor. But I'll have to mess with that, and I don't know if that many people are going to really care. And to be honest, this whole idea of putting all these parts in the hangar, it honestly would work on just about any ship out there that has a 5x9 hangar door and you know, that size ceiling. Typically they would fit. There's a way to make that stuff fit. So you could put those in pretty much any ship that has, you know, a hangar big enough. So it's not like an unusual thing. And again, it's kind of like the last ship too. I was going to originally mark that off, and then I was like, I don't know if I should really go out of my way to mark that. It's just one of those things. I'm sure anybody that has modded ships before knows things they can do, and that doesn't, you know, it's not really a feature. It's not really a special feature of the ship or anything like that. So anyway, that's all I've got for today, and yeah, should have a look at the workshop tomorrow, and I haven't really looked at the stuff in the last couple days again, so I'll have to see what's new and out there. But you all have yourself a great day, and hope you enjoyed this. Adios.